Riviera. We don't know Ibiza. And we've got Nate Burleson
I'm in Ibiza.
as well with a new hairstyle. Ibiza.
That's right. That's right. Listen, it's time to go, baby. A little football ain't gonna hurt nobody. Let's get to it, okay?
Kid and play. Wow.
Let's do it. Time for the lead block. You guys, Bears movement
Lead
on
block.
the depth chart. Let's go to Chicago. Yeah. Bears head coach Matt Nagy, he laid it out for the QBs. He's got Andy Dalton at 1, Justin Fields at 2. Dun, dun, dun. And Nick Foles, bottom man on the poll. He's got the 3rd spot there for now. So how's the relationship between the rookie Fields and the veteran who is the starting quarterback for now? Take a listen.
Andy's completely taking me under his wing. Any question that I have for him, he's going to answer. And then even when I'm throwing, I think there was one day out after OTAs, I was throwing extra after practice, and he stayed out there specifically just to, see maybe what I was doing wrong, and he was just trying to help me out. So I mean, he's been a huge help for sure. Great things don't happen all at once. So I'm just going to be patient. And of course, like I said earlier, I mean, I've been in this situation before where, I've had to learn, but behind a guy. So this is nothing new for me. I'm just, going to take it day by day and get better each and every day. I'm going to trust, Coach Nagy and, the whole coaching staff here to, develop me and make me the best quarterback that I can be.
This rookie's in a good spot. Every time he talks, I'm a little more happy for him. I like that he has Andy Dalton there. He's enjoying the best time of Chicago weather-wise, Kyle. He was out there at Wrigley. They showed him on WGN or wherever, and it was just incredible to watch the city sort of embrace him. And I like that he's trusting the coaching staff. I like that he's saying that he's being patient. Some of us, Kyle Grant, aren't as patient when it comes to the quarterback situation there in Chicago. Nate, I ask you first. How do you think, let's say we could just give the coaching staff, Nagy and company, some guidance. How would you want that quarterback situation handled during training camp, which does kick off July 27th?
First, before I jump into the question, let me say, Andy Dalton, well done. That's the way you do it. We've seen this time and time again where a young draft pick comes in, not just at the quarterback position, any position, and a vet is like, you know what? I'm here to get paid. I'm here to protect my pockets. I don't need to teach this young. That's not my job. I'm not babysitting. This isn't the Big Brother program. I'm here to play football. I could care less if he's successful. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. It happens every day in the corporate world. But Andy Dalton said, you know what, I've been through enough football. I understand what this young fella is going through, and I'm going to give him everything that he needs to be successful. So I truly, truly do appreciate that because it doesn't happen as much as people think. In a time where we're talking about Aaron Rodgers living his best life, hanging out, chilling, vacationing, and still can be a football player, in his own words, Andy Dalton is showing up and being an absolute pro. Not a knock towards Aaron, just more me giving credit to Andy. Now, with that said, Justin Fields is going to have to earn that position. And I think that's the way they handle it. You go out there and you say, Andy, you are the starter. And if you keep this position, you will remain the starter. Justin Fields, if you snatch his position and prove to be the best quarterback on the roster, in other words, if you earn the starting spot, then week 1, you will be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Nick Foles, who's 3rd, you also mentioned while you're talking to these QBs in their quarterback room, hey, Justin, you're sandwiched in between 2 guys that have done it at a high level. Andy Dalton, an absolute Pro Bowler. If he remains our starter, we're not going to be upset with that. Nick Foles, you know his resume. The guy has a statue in Philly. We can drive over there and take a look at it if you want to. So if you don't do what you need to do, you will be sandwiched in between 2 guys that can play at a high level. So go ahead and earn it, snatch it, take it. In meeting Justin Fields, sitting down with him, doing a one-on-one interview with him, that's how he likes it. He said to me straight up, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to earn it every single day plus more. I'm going to put the overtime in. And not just that, when I am a starter this year, I want to be Rookie of the Year. That's his words, not mine.
I think in his heart of hearts, Matt Nagy would love a smooth transition where it's Andy Dalton and then it's a handoff of the torch to Justin Fields and away we go. Problem is, it doesn't always go like that. And Nate, I'm going to jump on with exactly what you're saying. What if Fields is awesome this summer? What if Fields blows Dalton and Foles out of the water and Nagy's like, well, yeah, he still needs to wait his time. these players know, and they know quickly. I'll go back to the summer of 2012. I've referenced this before. I'm doing the training camp circuit, and Matt Flynn was supposed to be the starter for the Seattle Seahawks. They signed him for a lot of money from Green Bay as Aaron Rodgers' backup. And there's a guy who was a third-round pick out of the University of Wisconsin via the North Carolina State, who was just undeniable. He was so good that even Flynn had to eventually cede the position to Russell Wilson. Yep. That's how I look at this one. Don't put Andy Dalton in week 1 because you think you should. Don't put Andy Dalton in week 5 until week 8 because it worked with Alex Smith and Mahomes. Throw it all out the door. I know in his instincts and his gut, Matt Nagy wants to be patient. He wants to make this a smooth transition. But if it's an abrupt transition and Justin Fields lights it up in training camp, give the torch to Justin Fields. We've seen a lot of lesser accomplished quarterbacks start year 1 as rookies. One more real quick reference. Joe Flacco was the 3rd on the depth chart when he got to Baltimore. It was Troy Smith, and then it was Kyle Bowler, and then it was Joe Flacco. Well, Troy Smith had a very unfortunate case of tonsillitis. He was out. Bowler had an injury. He's out. Flacco goes in as week 1. No one thought this kid from Delaware was going to start week 1. They went to the AFC Championship game under Flacco. It could happen. If Justin Fields is better than Foles and he's better than Dalton, play Justin Fields. Don't worry about what you're supposed to do on some script or some bones on an architectural digest. I would say just go to the best quarterback. And if that's Field, let's rock.
And how about how that ended up with Flacco, Peter? Him starting with Lamar Jackson on the bench until it was too late. What goes around comes around, man. But I really do adore the Russell Wilson, Matt Flynn look back. And I don't know, maybe I'm doing this because it's Friday. Maybe it's just because it's a contract that we have with the NFL. We have to do it once a year. Let's go to 2012 in the timeline of @P. Schrags, and let's bring up some of the gems. These are real tweets. Peter tweets, I know Russell Wilson is a great feel-good story for all sports writers under 6 feet, but let's see what Matt Flynn can do. Peter taking shots at the sports writers. And there's more. It's not just one. One thing from draft weekend. The theory that Russell Wilson, quote unquote, just win games is wrong. Tim Tebow won games. Russell Wilson didn't. Give me the next one. Peter was going. Russell Wilson's being compared to Doug Flutie and Seneca Wallace. If I'm Russell Wilson, I'd consider baseball as my long-term career. Oh, yeah, Peter. Do you have any shots that you want to get out that Justin Fields should consider other lines of work? Or do you want to take another gratuitous shot at diminutive sports writers?
All right, so let's go through this. So you just showed those 3 tweets. You know how many times I could have deleted those tweets? How many lesser men would have deleted those tweets?
Respect.
1,000 times. As Russell Wilson is hoisting a Lombardi trophy. Do you know how many times those tweets are brought up to me? I leave them up there because it shows the naivety of my youth, how stupid I was, what a dumb sports writer I was, and what an elitist heightist I was. I didn't know that being over 6 feet made you a smarter person. Some of the dumbest stuff I've ever put out there. But Kyle, if that's the worst on my Twitter timeline, I'll sit behind it.
Who says it is?
I
Peter, I'm not piling on, but I want your opinion on if this is a good tell. I dig your concern. Like, Nagy, don't get stuck in like some archaic way of, Baker Mayfield, Tyrod Tayloring it. Is the fact that Justin Fields, Schrags, above Nick Foles on the depth chart already here on June whatever, is that give you confidence that like it's trending that way and he's not going to do the like bottom of the depth chart to the top thing? It sort of made me feel better seeing that.
I think the way they're glowing about Justin Fields as opposed to what we saw with maybe a Dwayne Haskins a few years ago where they're like, he's got a long way to go. This is over the top praise for a quarterback who was the 4th quarterback selected in the NFL draft. So I'm fascinated to see how it all plays out. But to your point, Kay, it's all signs are pointing upwards. This is a really good development thus far.
Love it. Once you name him the starter, just remember you can't take it back.